I like that approach. I mean, I think it's natural when we're recording this, it's like New Year's resolutions and start of the year and all that kind of stuff. And I think all of us know that about 80% of us drop off by the end of January. By February, we're not practicing this New Year's resolution, this massive commitment we made. And it's almost because we go from this huge extreme from being indulgent in December to trying to be hyper intentional in January.
Yeah.
And trying to go from one extreme to the other. And none of us can hack that. It doesn't work.
Well, a friend of mine said a really good thing to me. My friend Simon said to me, he said, you need to stop going on a diet. Because my weight has gone up and down. I can see it in too many videos on YouTube, like where I was up, where I was down. I used to have like 3 sets of suits. Lauren Shapiro, who was our wardrobe designer on the show, who I am now saying, as I said it out loud, would have hated hearing her name on your podcast. My time with her, I used to just love so much because, like I said, so much of the day would be a lot of people. And then it would just be me and her choosing suits and choosing what I'm going to wear. And we'd chat about the day. And, we've had moments where we cracking up laughing. We have other days where one of us is really down. And it would just be this little precious moment in this very small walk-in closet that was off my office where all the suits were. And my time with those are the things I really miss.
Yeah.
That's the stuff I really, really miss. And she very, very subtly, and we never talked about it. We never ever talked about it, but I knew what she did and I was grateful, was she basically started organizing my suits into like really fat, and always looking good. You could see. And she would just...
You always look good, mate.
But she would just very, very in the just... And I would go, and then it just became a thing where I'd be like, I think we're, particularly if we came off a hiatus or a go away and just, okay, I think we're going to be, and she'd be like, and we'd never really speak about it. But my friend Simon said, you need to stop going on a diet. I said, what do you mean? He said, you got to stop. You've got to stop going on a diet. He said, because going on a diet is like going on a holiday. You are going to return. You're going to come back.
Wow. He
said, if you go on a diet, what you're saying is this is short term. He said, you need to just go, this is how I live now.
That's good.
And this is it. That's not going, I don't eat any bread. No. In moderation, it's probably good for you to eat certain types of bread, but that's it. And don't just stop this thing of being like, oh guys, I'm on a diet. Yeah. And he was like, and stop broadcasting it. Stop saying it. Just stop saying it. Just go, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and exercise like this. I'm going to try and walk like I'm trying to do. And just be like, no, I'm going to eat this. And don't be like, well, I want to be down 20 pounds in 35 days. Like, because you've done that.
Yeah.
And you know how that plays out.
Yeah.
Don't go on something.
That's
just
good.
Change something.
That's good. I like that. Yeah. On a diet, on a holiday. That's good. That's strong. You've got some wise friends, James.
I do.
There's a lot of good. There's a lot of great advice. Are these
really
friends for like life? Are these friends recently?
Some of my friends, Simon, I've known probably about nine years, and then I have like friends who I've known for 35 years. You know what I mean? Like,
what's it taking to keep those? Because I find like I've been talking to a lot of my male friends about this recently, and this idea of, do you have a friend that you could call in the middle of the night, and they would pick up. They would turn up, they would be there. Because if you have one of those friends, that's pretty rare and pretty incredible, especially as men, I find sometimes. It's almost harder to have those vulnerable relationships, but you seem to be having a lot of open, vulnerable, healthy conversations with men in your life.
But I think it's easier now. I think it's easier now than it used to be. Right. I hope we're going to move into a generation of men. And I think you and your show is responsible for that. I think just the ability to just be like, I'm struggling is a thing which I think for a very long time men were conditioned to, that was weak. Yeah. And actually it's almost certainly the bravest thing you can do. It is a tremendous act of bravery to say, I'm not doing too great at the minute. And as soon as those words leave your mouth, I reckon 20% of those things have gone. And I'm very, very fortunate. I just have a lot of friends that I've known for a very long time, and I love them, and I tell them I love them, and I enjoy the company of people so much. You know, I just, you know, it's interesting you talk about who would call, like my friend Louis that I was just telling you about, who we wrote that script together. Louis had a previous life where he would go out sometimes for 3 days. I don't think he'd mind me saying this. He'd go out for days on end. And I always, I said to Jules when we met, I said, just so you know, I've got this friend Louis, and he goes out for a long time. Like, you know what London was like in those times, in these very streets.
Yes.
And I said, if he calls me, I have to pick up. I always pick up, because I always used to think he might be in trouble. This resulted in some of the funniest things I've ever heard, right? Him calling me at 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning resulted in some of the funniest things I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'd say to anybody who doesn't pick up the phone to a friend in the night, it might not always be bad. Yeah. It might be so. He called me once. I think it's okay to tell you this. He called me once, and it's like for 3:30 in the morning. I said, hey man, are you okay? And he went, and he's drunk. And he went, I'm going to tell you something now, and it's a fact. I went, what? He went, it's a fact. I went, sorry? He went, what I am about to tell you is a fact. It is a fact of life, and I would like to share it with you. I said, okay, this 4:15 in the morning. He's like, it is a fact, James, that I have never and will never see the Jersey Boys. Goodbye, and hung up the phone.